to another edition of Strength Through Stress, brought to you by Top Virtual Staffing Solutions, wherein we all grow, learn, and innovate all at the same time. So please make sure you go ahead and contact us at this information right here if you have any questions whatsoever, okay? And we are on session 11. So as always, we're going to review the previous session's journal, willpower, and growth mindset. And then we are going to discuss stress-prone personality. We'll discuss personality a little bit further. And then for today's session, we will go through again in terms of journal, willpower, and growth mindset. And as always, apply what was discussed on session 6, wherein we discussed specifically critical and scientific thinking, as well as metacognition. All right, and this is what it looks like there. Implicit consent, we have discussed it there. Disclaimer, if there are any major issues, please contact your medical professional or call 911 right away as we go through these sessions. Ground rules, I have discussed these on session 6. My background, I'm skipping this as well. What we do for Top Virtual Staffing Solutions, why it's called as Strength Through Stress instead of stress management. It's discussed there as well. All right, so why free, discussed it a little bit further there too. And we will discuss this a little bit more, because every session, it's going to be different in terms of worthwhile causes. So for today's session, we want to focus on NAACP. This is the national one, but you can go ahead and support your local chapters if you may, especially with everything that's going on in relation to injustices that seems to take place in a systemic manner. So we appreciate your help and support regarding NAACP. And if you want to go ahead and contribute to all of these nonprofit organizations equally that we promote, please support this initiative on this GoFundMe page. All right, so why free? This is one of the virtual town hall sessions. Feel free to go ahead and learn a little bit as well. Do you have any questions, Miko?
If you can slow it down so I can type. What?
Yes, yes, of course. Earlier I was quick because we don't have to discuss those things any further because it's just you. The reason why I still have those slides here is because just in case if somebody joins us live, then we can discuss it with them further. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. I answered your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, cool. So let's move on to the journal today. Oh, the journal last time for that matter, I'm sorry. And we discussed about emotions impacting health and regarding humor, how it helps you cope as a coping mechanism for stress and what you consider to be funny. And you consider yourself funny, and the other consider you as being funny. So I know I've shared these on my end last time, so hopefully I can hear from you this time, Miko.
So what is funny for me? Well, I can give you an example of when something was funny.
Okay.
That was when we saw the trailer for Family Guy, I think.
Yes.
And then when he fell, he was on his knee for 30 seconds and he said, so.
When he hurt his shin. And
Yeah.
for me, what I found funny is that as much as I found that intriguing, and again, that's the main reason why I ended up watching Family Guy, is because of that specific trailer. And over a decade later, because you were not born yet when I saw that, and I showed it to you, and you did find it funny.
Funny.
And it's interesting that that's the thing that you chose for this answer. So, there. So, do you think humor is a good coping mechanism with stressors?
Yes.
Why is that? Care to explain further?
I think for me, it's a coping mechanism because, hang on, sorry. I think humor's just, it makes me happy.
Makes you happy and it helps you deal with stressors, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then, do you agree that emotions impact our health and well-being?
Yes.
From your point of view, why is that a yes?
I think if you're really depressed,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you don't have a good mindset. You have a fixed mindset over and over again.
Okay.
So sometimes you just really want to do something, but since you're so depressed, you can't do it.
Okay. All right. And that's what it is. Emotions impacting our health, well-being. And the opposite side of that spectrum of depression is that you're happy and you're fulfilled and you're content. And obviously your health-wise, it's a little bit good too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you consider yourself as funny? Huh?
I'm not sure.
Why are you not sure?
I'm not a joker.
You don't joke around?
Not too much.
Not too much.
But I do like it.
Do you think others consider you as funny?
Depends what the topic is.
Yeah, think about your friends. Do you think they would consider you as being funny? Do they regard you as being a funny person?
I'm not sure, actually.
Not sure. Okay.
We could, yeah, we do laugh around a lot, though.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
All right. Okay. So, what is the category of your humor style? What's the funniest moment that you can think of? And can you make a mental list of people or events or location that make you happy? So, any of these that you could discuss a little bit further, or using your personal example.
I'm not sure. I mean, my funniest moment would be as in I laughed a lot or I did something really funny.
One or both?
Oh. So when I laughed a lot, we were watching the TV show at dinner, and I think he said that you put a mask on your elbow and then could cough directly in someone's face.
Everything was shifted, right?
Yes.
Some of the numbers, when in essence you should be putting a mask on your face and cuffing on your elbow.
Yeah. That was
Okay,
funny.
all right. Well, what do you think is your humor style? You think you're a sarcastic one? You think you're a slapstick one? What type of funny are you?
I'm not sure.
Not sure? Okay. All right. Is there any other list that makes you happy? It doesn't have to be funny, but anything that makes you happy. Whether when you're dealing with specific people or events or location. Can you name a few? And if you're naming a few, don't tell their full names, at least just the first name.
School.
Huh?
Location.
Location is which one?
School.
School? Ah, that's good. I'm glad that school makes you happy. Why is that? Why school makes you happy?
I learn. I get to spend time with my out-of-neighbor friends.
Okay.
We have some things that usually you don't teach me at home. So no, I'm not trying to compare you or anything, but some things like, for instance, art.
Mm-hmm.
You're not much of an art person, are you? So
you're learning new things.
yes.
Which is good. And that's the idea of what school is that you learn something new, and then whatever you learn at home, then you get to support one and the other. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you kind of join people there as well. Events. Is there anything you want to discuss in terms of what makes you happy?
Well, one event in the past was the waffle or the pancake. Sorry, not waffle. The pancake event, I think.
What's a pancake event? Oh, the one at church?
Yeah. With
Oh, okay. I'm
and
glad
that's
you brought that
another.
up.
And that's a person who makes me happy as well, Mitchell.
Okay, because you were with Mitch and you were eating. How many pancakes did you eat that afternoon, that dinner?
I think I ate 5 or 6. At least I know I ate one more pancake than him. I think he ate more sausages than me.
Okay. How many sausages did you eat?
I'm not sure. We both ate a lot of sausages.
It was good, huh?
I can tell you, I had a lot of applesauce.
Oh, yeah, you had a lot of applesauce.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
I
That's
had a
correct.
lot.
All right. Sounds good. Good. Thank you for sharing. Okay. So regarding willpower, in terms of self-awareness, identify your willpower choices in a day and track the choices that you made. So what can you say about the choices that you make in a day? Today or yesterday, 2 days ago? Can you identify certain choices?
My willpower choices
Yes.
was to continue with my willpower choices this week. I'm sorry. I think I have the hiccups. I think that I did a lot of extra time in Dreambox and LexiaCore 5.
Okay.
Well, just Dreambox because LexiaCore 5 wasn't responding. But I did do as much time as I needed.
Okay. So these are schoolwork stuff, right?
Yes.
So that was your choice to go ahead and commit to your schoolwork.
And do a bit more, yes.
Versus what? What's another choice that you could have done?
Programming.
Programming, okay.
Those are the two main things I do on the computer, really. So I could.
I mean,
Oh,
hmm,
yeah. I almost forgot. The time when I persevered in trying to have my grandma's internet Scrabble club work out, and it did work out.
and it worked. Okay, sounds good. So going back to choices, you focus more in schoolwork because you had to catch up with certain things, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, you did those instead of doing other things. I mean, programming is fine, but you're not spending way too much time on programming because you need to do school. How about the choice of reading fiction stuff?
Yeah.
Yes. We have to park that for now. Again, it's fine, correct? But you're the one who made the choice that I am going to commit to completing all the schoolwork that I have missed.
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right. Wonderful. And these are things every day, every week, every year. You are going to make these choices of what you want to do versus what needs to be done first. Correct? Okay. All right. Wonderful. How about growth mindset? What are some of the characteristics of someone wanting to learn, and what would you be able to continue, and what do you want to develop for yourself?
What do I want to continue? I want to continue programming. What do I want to develop? A website.
A website. Okay.
Or,
I understand what you're saying in terms of what you want to continue, but let's go back in terms of characteristics of someone wanting to learn. Did you identify certain characteristics of a person that, okay, this is a person that really likes learning?
they're really eager to do something they're usually not doing. It's not in their daily life.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be in their daily life, so yeah.
So you're learning something new, right?
Yes.
And so going back to programming, you want to continue to go ahead and do that. And that's pretty much what life is. You're always learning something new.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then with that, you want to continue to develop. Is there anything about yourself that you want to go ahead and develop or change in terms of wanting to learn?
My writing skills.
Writing skills. That's a perfect example. That's a perfect example. That's wonderful. Okay, so all of us need to continue to go ahead and develop writing. So this is where we'll go ahead and come in. Correct? So you wanting to learn to develop writing, and here you are. You're open to it, right?
Yes.
That's a great example, Miko. All right, let's go move on. Critical thinking. So again, these are things we have discussed in the sixth session. And here we are, we're just reviewing. Is there anything from the previous session that you want to be a little bit clearer with? Significant for you? What's logical for you? Anything there? If you would remember from the previous session.
Oh, sorry, I'm typing.
Regarding critical thinking.
I'm not. No, I don't think so.
You're fine? You're clear with those?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you want to create, apply, analyze from last session?
Not really.
Okay.
You.
Hopefully in the next few sessions, you could go ahead and at least respond to one of these things, okay?
Okay.
All right, in relation to the previous session. So today we'll be discussing new things. The next week, you'll be sharing something specific regarding any one of these questions. Is that good? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, yes, let's go ahead and move on. So we'll move on now to what our subject matter is for today. Thank you for reviewing things with me regarding the previous session. Regarding stress-prone personality, and I know we have discussed this last time, is reaction to stress subjective? Yes or no? And I know you are typing.
I don't know, actually.
Do you remember what subjective is?
I have an idea.
Okay.
Objective.
So do you think reaction to stress is rather subjective, that your experience is going to be different from somebody else?
Maybe.
I need a commitment, a yes or a no.
Yes or no?
What do you think?
I'm not sure. Let me think.
Okay, make a commitment right now. Is it a yes or a no? How you react to stressors?
Yes.
Yes, it's subjective. Remember one of the pictures with the 3 light bulbs and one of them is broken?
No, oh, yes, I remember that.
Okay. And it's the same thing here. We view things differently. And then how do we work with these stressors, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what it is in terms of, so again, we're still in this pandemic mode, and I know we're slowly opening things up in a responsible way and stuff, but in spite of all of these, we need to go ahead and learn how to work with these things, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. More on stress-prone personality. Let's go ahead and define personality first. Do you need to type these first?
Yeah.
Maybe just type in personality definition.
Okay.
You don't have to type everything here.
Okay.
Okay? Since the way we deal and interpret stress, it's subjective. It's where personality will go ahead and come in, wherein it makes each and every one of us unique. It's a unique way on how we think, how we act, how we feel throughout life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's what personality is. So, do you think personality can be changed? Or that's pretty much set? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Especially if you have a growth mindset, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, however, there are certain levels of personality, there are certain aspects of personality that cannot be changed. Because remember, this is something that is unique to us,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we can still change it and modify it as we go through life, as we go through experiences, and so on and so forth. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
I do.
All right. So let's move on in terms of type A characteristics. This is a type of personality. In terms of importance of time, do you think for me, time is important, it's critical for me?
Yes.
Yes. So you can go ahead and identify, I have a type A personality. I do not want to waste time. If every time that I go ahead and spend, hopefully it's something that is meaningful and worthwhile. I don't like wasting time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you have a type A personality, that's critical for you. Every second counts, every minute counts in one shape or form. Let's move on to another characteristic of type A, multitasking. So even if we do not want to say, even if we go ahead and say it's not really good to multitask, to do 2, 3, 4, 5 things at the same time. But you can go ahead and identify that, yeah, so that's a type A characteristic. So sometimes when I'm working on something, I have something on, whether it's a travel channel thing or a news or whatever, or something, an informational session on YouTube, I have that on while I'm working on, for example, like these slides, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I have the tendency to do that, to do 2 or 3 things happening or going on. So for example, when we hiked last Friday, we also recorded a session as a greeting for your grandma because of her upcoming birthday. So we're doing multiple things all at the same time in one shape or form. But ideally, we focus on one thing. So like right now, no, I'm not checking my phone. I'm not doing any other thing. I'm focusing on this session with you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What's another type A characteristic or personality? They are ultra competitive. They do not want to lose. Do you think you are ultra competitive? Mika? You think you're extremely competitive. You hate losing.
No.
No? Okay, that's good to know. So next time when you lose at something, you'll focus on the learning on how to win next time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. You can go ahead and say, I'm ultra competitive. I hate losing. But the same idea. I want to focus on how I'm going to win. It's more of the how. The results are what the results are, but it's more of the how that we need to go ahead and focus on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
More about this. Do you need to be fast if you're running? Relay?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you do give the feedback that you have to slow down.
Exactly.
So that is my personality showing. I have a tendency to speak quickly and loudly because I want to make sure it's clear. But sometimes I believe that's the feedback I receive from other people too, because I have this personality. So even if these are, that's my personality type, and for the most part it doesn't change, but hopefully I try to inculcate having a growth mindset and try to temper these things down. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, another characteristic of being type A is extreme control-centric. What does that mean? Do you know what the picture is?
No. I don't know.
I believe this is what, yeah, what?
kind of looks like a motherboard. It looks like a thing for when you're making a video, you can control the sound.
Yes.
And there are various levers of various colors.
Precisely. I think this is more of sound because I can see here the word mute.
Yes.
So I think this is more an audio controlling device.
And I've seen I think a picture of someone using something like that.
Mhm.
There are levers that control the sound. And then there are levers that control forgot what it was called. But yeah, they're controlling the sound and mute. There's if you want sound to be highest or lowest.
Yes.
Thing.
Levers or knobs for this one.
Yeah.
And yes, and that's what it is. I mean, if you are going to compose music, you do want to control everything there so that the music and the sound will come across the best way possible, correct?
Yes.
So with that, that's completely fine. But if we are extremely control-centric, okay, Miko, this is what you need to wear, this is what you need to do, you need to do this first step first, and then that second step, then now that's too extreme.
And that's a need.
Yes. So it depends on what you are doing. But if you are an extremely control-centric, you're type A, that, okay, it needs to be done exactly how this is. And if you're that type of a person, then you are falling in the type A personality. Okay? Let's move on to the next one. Material wealth. So, and I understand, and you know what, I think moving on, because we're posting this as a podcast as well, can you share to the listeners what I have here in the picture?
Gold bars?
Gold bars. Yep, gold bars, so gold bullions.
Bars.
Yes. That the only focus is to go ahead and gain and amass all the money that you can think of. It's not a matter of just living comfortably, but you just want to earn as much money as you can. So this is a social influence on why we develop of being type A. And there's a difference of, okay, well, yes, money is important so you can pay for a place to live, to take care of other financial responsibilities. But if it's always just making money, and that's it, then that's a whole different story.
Hang on.
Okay.
Social
influence to develop type A personality. And then if you're listening to this on the podcast, if you want to go through the slides, by all means, feel free to just go to our YouTube site.
Okay.
Good? All right.
Yep.
Another social influence to develop type A is instant gratification. What do I have for picture here?
A physical therapy sign?
Yes. Which is the opposite of instant gratification. What do I mean by that? If you are in pain, sure, if you drink pain medication, your pain is gone, quote unquote, but you don't necessarily get better. You are just shadowing the pain. You're not dealing with the pain directly. But if you go through physical therapy, for example, is that you are going to deal with the pain so that you correct how you work, how you move, you strengthen your muscles, And that's why this is strength through stress. We strengthen ourselves through whatever we go through. And it's the same thing. If your ankle is bothering you, your back is bothering you, and you're just going to drink pain medication and that's it, not good. From time to time, it's okay if it's extreme, but you have to learn how to do the proper stretches, how to do the exercises, how to hold yourself when you're sitting down or standing up, and these ergonomics, if you may. And that's the opposite of instant gratification. So for us type A individuals, I just want things now. But we have to go ahead and learn things go through the right process so things are done properly. Does that make sense? Miko?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. All right, let's move on. So we go back to the picture of what, Mika? We go back to the picture of people racing, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Sorry.
what it is. We're trying to go ahead and compete. There's a healthy level of competition, or you just want to, quote unquote, keep up with the Joneses, if that's the saying right there. That you want to go ahead and be better than X, Y, and Z. Just be better. That's fine. Okay. So that's the competition part. The next one is that we treat individuals nothing but numbers. Just like how the picture depicts here. There's a big clock, and there's two individuals with their back behind, and you see focus on the clock or the numbers of the clock. So that's what it is, social influence to develop type A. That all we focus on are numbers, that we lose the quality of the relationships that we have. I'm not saying that we should not pay attention to the numbers, but at the same time, if that's the only focus and the only focus, then that's a problem. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another social influence on how we end up developing a type A personality. So we go back to that question, can personality change or not change? And yes, it can be changed, especially when you have these social drivers.
Speaking of
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I learned that there are only used two numbers in, I think, computers, and that's 0 and 1. 0 is no, and 1 means yes.
Yes.
So
Whatever the decision-making process is, it's either a yes or a no. Yes.
yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing that. So let's move on to the review. Personality influences how we work with stress. So if you think you have a type A personality, do you think you are more prone to be stressed? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, it was a bit kind of cut off.
Okay, if you have a type A personality, if that's your personality, do you think you are more prone to be stressed out? Yes or no? If you're ultra competitive, if all you think is money and you don't deal with people, but they're just nothing but numbers, what do you think? You think you're more prone to be stressed out versus another type of personality?
Yes, I think so.
Especially if you're super critical with time, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
I mean, At the end of the day, that's what it is. We want to be respectful of your time and everybody else's time. That is important. But other than that, if you're too extreme with that, then that's a problem. Okay? So type A, being competitive, being too intense, so that could be an issue. Okay? So any questions with the subject matter for today's session regarding personality and type A?
No.
No? We're good? Okay, let's go and move on here. So why do we journal? If you want to learn more, please listen to the 6th session. All right, but let's focus on Journal 13, Behavior Modification. What behavior do you want to change? What can you do to replace that behavior? What is the outcome? So I'll go ahead and provide my own example first. So being type A, one of which is being impatient. And I know in our last conversation we discussed about being able to express your anger. So yes, I am type A. My patience is not too high, and anger follows through right away. And one of the things as well about personality is being type A is being ultra competitive. So I want to change that behavior, anger, right?
Yes.
So what I try to do is I compete with myself. And I think I have shared with the other sessions as well that I'm prone to be depressed or to be extremely sad. Really interesting that I was asked that question, are you a happy person? And I have to go ahead and think about it. Anyway, just going back to this. So what behavior do you want to change? Those are the behaviors, anger and depression. I want to change that as much as I can. I want to gain control over it. So what I do is I compete. Since I'm super competitive, I compete with myself. I am not going to make this, I'm not going to have this make me angry. I'm not going to have this make me sad. I will compete with myself and still be functional and still be able to do what I need to do. And the outcome is that I continue to evolve and not let that personality type just control me. So that's what behavior modification is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So on the next session, you will provide your own example here, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So for the willpowers, we continue to discuss this. Again, we talk about self-awareness. Identify your willpower choices in a day. I know it's similar to what we had earlier, but this time you have to track the choices that you make. So for example, somebody cuts me or somebody's tailgating me in a car. My willpower is to be angry and be annoyed, or just let it go and just move on with my life. So I track those choices. How often am I being triggered by certain things that's really, really annoying? And then what are the choices do I make? Do I give in, or I choose something else more beneficial or helpful? So you go ahead and track the choices that you make in a day. Okay? Does that make sense? Miko? I think you hanged. Or I'm not sure if your laptop ran out of juice. Can you still hear me? Are you there? Okay, I'll just go ahead and continue. The most important thing is, are you going to commit to these changes? And that's the most important thing. You're going to commit to these changes. So it's not only tracking them, but also the commitment to make these changes happen for you. That's the most important word. Okay. Regarding the growth mindset, are you trying to prove yourself correct or wanting to learn something new? Yeah, I think your internet connection went out, or your computer conked out. So, are you trying to prove yourself that you're always correct? Or you know what? Let me change something and let me learn something new today. Let me change my thought process a little bit today. And failure, is that the outcome, or failure is an opportunity to learn? Are you focusing on failure just for the failure itself? Or what can I do to continue to learn? And what effort and what commitment am I going to do in order to change? Am I willing to learn and receive feedback? And is the feedback rather meaningful, or it's a wasted time as well? So if it's meaningful feedback, by all means. So one of the feedback that Miko has given me is to go ahead and slow down. Hopefully I have slowed down enough, but not too slow either. So that's a growth mindset. So again, our strength through stress sessions are Sundays, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Workout buddy session is Fridays, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Our Vidyoka Scrabble session is Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we are going to add another aspect into our learning series here of life and learner success. Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So hopefully you get to join us in these sessions, and we will see you in the next session. So thank you. Please subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, support the nonprofit organization that we highlighted. We appreciate you for that. And these are our references for today's session. Thank you, and we will see you then.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video informational and educational. Please share our videos and subscribe to our channel. If not, my dad will not give me dessert.